Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest episode of the Writers Podcast. I'm here today with writer Tricia Copeland. Hello, Tricia. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Lou.
Great. And we're here to talk about your latest book, which is Perfect Secrets, written under your pen name of Maria Jane. And we can get into why you do that maybe a little bit later on. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the what your elevator pitch is for this book?
Right. So Perfect Secrets is a closed door or fade to black romance. So contemporary romance about Elle and Tanner. It's a dual POV. So you get both persons' perspective of what they're feeling, what they're doing. It's a he falls first trope along with a bit of friends to lovers. You got a little bit of close proximity trope in there. And it's set in, I can't say my hometown. I've lived here for 20 years, but it's set in Denver. I live right outside of Denver. It's my first book set in Denver, so I'm super excited about that.
All right, very cool. And were you a big reader growing up?
I was, yes, until I got probably into high school and college, where
Sure.
Studies seemed to take over the reading. But I loved fantasy as a kid and love poems for some reason. I was really hooked on fantasy and love poems.
Cool.
I don't know how that happened.
And who were some of your favorite writers?
I love Mary Stewart, The Crystal Cave, her books about Merlin, Stephen King. I loved, obviously, J.R.R. Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. So, big fantasy fan.
Okay. And where did you get the bug to start writing?
It's funny. I didn't really like writing until I did my master's work. So I have a master's degree in microbiology, and my major professor really was good at teaching writing. So that was my first time I'd ever thought, oh, I like this a little and I'm decent at it. So have a couple of technical papers, and then through my science background and my scientific job, I did a lot of writing with patents as well as other technical publications. So, but it wasn't until I was home with my kids for a few years, I got maybe a little bored, and I thought, I'm just going to start writing this story. I never written creatively before, except for what I had to in school. But it was just like this movie that was playing in my head that I wanted to write down. So just started writing, and 8 years later had 2 books.
Wow. That's quite a bit of progress in such a short time period. Did you, because I have a business background as well, I was an IT guy, and business writing tends to be very passive and very non-specific, very nebulous. Did you find the transition to fictional writing difficult? Apparently not, but I'm just curious, did you realize the difference between the two pretty quickly?
I did realize the difference, and I really wrote more like a screenplay, so there was a lot of I didn't know I was doing, first of all. Let's just say that out front.
Right.
But I wrote just a lot, like I was seeing it in my head, sort of more like a screenplay. I mean, it wasn't writing screenplay format, but it read more like a screenplay. So I needed a lot of editing in the beginning. I worked with a great editor who, helped me kind of pare down my dialogue, summarize some of it, have some action scenes in there, and really get it into the shape where it was a novel and what a novel should read like, with a little, I had the structure pretty well, because I think most people that, read and watch shows kind of know a basic plot structure, but I probably couldn't have drawn one at that point. Like, I wouldn't have been cognizant of, I'm writing the climax now, or I'm writing the opening now, or this is the tail end, I'm wrapping everything up. But somehow she put it in a form that it worked.
Okay. And you did this all, like, you didn't take any formal, informal writing classes or belong to a writing group or anything like that? Or?
No, yeah. After I published my first book, I started taking some more courses.
Okay.
Particularly on fantasy writing, because that was my love and that's the direction I wanted to go. I may have a cat come across the desk right now.
No worries.
He's
that's all right.
Stretching beside me.
Yeah.
So
cats, they're They
That
like.
is Smokey.
Hey,
He's like, I
Smokey.
kicked
Yeah.
down.
I've seen
Very
that a lot of
naughty.
times. Cats always seem to come on when people are doing other things.
Yes, his nap was interrupted, I
Oh,
guess.
okay. Well, I apologize to him for that.
For an old man, that's a big deal. So.
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So your first two books, what were they about? I'm assuming fantasy.
No, they were.
Oh,
So as a young adult, I experienced having anorexia.
oh,
So my
okay.
first two books were fictionalized accounts
Oh,
of my experience. So I wrote a character who, much like me, um, kind of led a normal life and didn't
okay.
know how I ended up in this place with this mental health challenge.
Mm,
Um, or thought I led a normal life and was pretty mentally balanced, but was not when it came to
right.
some challenges. So that was my first series. It's a 4-book series called the Being Me series, and that really launched my love of writing.
Okay.
But
And
I think it was also very healing for me too, just to
okay.
go back and look at that experience and look what I gained from it and
Mm-hmm.
how I came out stronger from
Okay.
that experience and with a lot more life tools, I think.
Right, right. That's very cool. So what happened? What was your next book series then?
Right. So the next series was Kingdom Journals. As I said, love fantasy and
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to jump into fantasy writing. I thought that would be my vampire series,
Oh.
but it quickly got taken over by all the witches in the series. My
Mm.
character, I can show you the cover.
Sure.
So this is a cover. The first book, Kingdom of Embers.
Okay.
The main character is a 17-year-old half witch, half vampire character. And as I said, initially I thought it was going to be a vampire series, and it
Mm.
turns out that I created this witch system and their magic system and got kind of more enthralled with that portion than
Okay.
the vampire portion. Maybe there was more to play around creatively, to play around with it in the witch world there.
Mm.
So it turned out to be the Kingdom Journals because each book is written through the different point of view of a different witch. So it continues the main story, but this
Mm.
trinity of witches has to break a curse on the witch lines. So you
Okay.
get each different witch telling their portion of the story and a little bit about their background too.
Okay. And are all three characters in all books though? Or-
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they're just telling it from their point of view,
Sure.
but continuing the overall plot of the
Mm-hmm.
series. Yeah.
Okay. And that's a 3-book series.
It is a 4-book series.
4-book.
I
Okay.
again had like another surprise character
Ah.
kind of pop up, and he was supposed to be one character, and he like finagled himself a whole book.
That's
So
kind of cool when that happens, though, eh?
it is very fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then, am I guessing is it your Fae series? Is that the next one?
Yeah, so that was also something that just came out of nowhere. I was challenged to write in an anthology,
Okay.
and the like the promo for the anthology had an image of the fairy, and she was hunched in a meadow, and she
Mm-hmm.
looked anxious or afraid, and I was just sitting there bored thinking, well, what's this chick doing? Like, why is she anxious? What is she afraid of? What's going on in her world? What are her challenges? And
Right.
so Queen Titania was born, and then the witches needed, and I was still writing the Kingdom Journal series, and the witches needed somebody to help them fight the army of vampires.
Okay.
So I thought, well, who better to help the witches than the fairy?
Oh, okay. So these are
So,
interconnected series then.
right, they are. They're
Okay.
connected series.
Cool.
So Titania came and helped the witches, and then she got her own book to be a Fae Queen. And I have that one right here too. Yeah. So that's to be a
Okay.
Fae Queen, which
Right.
is the first book in the Realm Chronicles series, the
Okay.
crossover series to the Kingdom Journals, and then that's a 5-book series that was
5
completed
books.
last
Okay.
summer.
So now we're getting bigger with each series, are we?
Yes, but the witches come in and out of that series as well, so we continue to see them as they work with
All
Titania.
right. And so then is your current book your next book, or?
Yes, my current book, Perfect Secrets, is my most recent release. It released in June, and that is also a 5-book series so far.
Wow. And
That Right.
And is it? It's not fantasy though, is it?
No, it's not
Is that
fantasy.
why
This
you
is a
took a?
contemporary romance
That's why.
under Maria Jane.
And
Right.
that's why you took that pen name
Yeah.
then. Okay. And how did you choose that name?
It's a name based on my sister and my grandmother.
Oh,
So my
okay.
sister's name is Marie and my grandmother's name is Jane. So Maria Jane kind of rolled off
Okay.
the tongue a little
I
bit.
I get a little bit of a kind of different connotation from that, but
Okay,
I'm thinking
interesting.
of song from Tom Petty, "Last Call for Mary Jane." I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
Yeah. So interesting. So this is the first book in the series, Perfect Secrets?
This is actually the fifth book in the
Oh,
series.
okay.
Yeah, it starts out with it's a perfect romance series, and the first book
Oh,
is
okay.
titled
I'm sorry.
Perfect.
Right.
And I really was writing between each fantasy. I try to write a romance, and
Mm-hmm.
my fantasy, even though it's YA fantasy, has a lot of critical moments and kind of heavy situations where my characters are always in danger and they're always
Right.
about to be zapped out of
Mm-hmm.
zapped into oblivion. So I needed something lighter for my mental health and decided, what's the lightest thing you write? A romance is the lightest thing I think you
Okay.
can write.
And are you a big romance fan or?
I am, yeah. I read a
Yeah.
lot of romance,
Okay.
and I like watching rom-coms.
Right.
So
I know it's a very popular genre, and really all the best stories have some element of romance in them anyhow, right? So
right.
it's a good genre to get into for sure. Do you find writing like the Perfect Secret story that takes place in a real world, right?
Yes.
Do you find that limiting as opposed to your fantasy, or is it just
Um,
you're exercising a different muscle when you're doing it?
I am, and I actually think it's more challenging in some ways to writing
Hmm.
fantasy because you're kind of tasked to come up with something new, hopefully, and
Right.
fun for the reader. But it also has to be believable enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the characters can't like from randomly get together and fall in love with no basis.
Okay.
Um, but you have to make it, enough that it keeps the reader's attention. So, what are the twists and turns that are going to surprise the reader and keep their attention,
Mm-hmm.
but still be, believable, as well as making the chemistry good between the characters, making the characters good. I mean, they might
Mm-hmm.
have some flaws, but you don't want them to be horribly flawed that nobody
Sure.
cares about them.
Right.
I guess that happens in horror movies sometimes, but
Yeah.
so yeah, it is more challenging. And the first book in the series, Perfect,
Mm-hmm.
is a little bit different format. So I was thinking, oh, I want a romance book, but I don't want to write the typical romance because I can't do anything typical. So
Okay.
I did an alternate ending romance. So it's five different parts, I guess, and in each part she falls and she's at a like different point in her life and she makes a
Mm.
different decision or her life takes a different turn. So
Mm.
in each part she falls for a different guy depending on her circumstances, and I kind
Okay.
of meant for it to feel like the reader can choose who her perfect partner should be or
Oh.
who
Oh.
they think is the perfect person for her.
Mm-hmm.
So then in the second book of the series, Perfect Always, I wrote like her whole story. But um so that one starts out with Chloe, and every book in the Perfect series is centered around this friend group who met at the University of Kentucky. So
Mm.
um they start in college, but most of them are centered around post-college
Okay.
ages.
Okay. And in this latest book, what's the hook with this one? Is this a fifth different choice or?
Yes. Well, no. So each of the other books have different primary characters.
Okay.
So in the first two books, Chloe is the primary character, and then in Perfect Secrets, Danny. No, not Danny. That's the one I'm writing next. Elle, Elle is the female main character in Perfect Secrets, and as the name suggests, there are a lot of secrets. So Elle is running from something unbeknownst to us in the beginning,
Mm.
comes to Denver, gets a new job, and is working at a law firm. And it's a very swanky law firm. I mean, they pick all their employees up in limos to drive them to work.
Well, okay.
So she's sitting across from Tanner, who is the son of one of the his father has now passed away, but he was a partner in the firm. So kind of a golden boy in the
Mm-hmm.
firm, but he's just starting out too.
Right.
Um, so he, and she doesn't want to talk to him. She doesn't want to meet him, but they're in these sports groups together. So she kind of decides, oh, I can talk to him. I can say something to him. But
Mm-hmm.
of course, even though it's a first person point of view, your characters don't always tell you everything. So as we go throughout the
Yeah.
story, we learn more and more about each character's past and their families. And when she meets Tanner's mother, everything like basically explodes in their life.
Mm.
His mother pulls a gun on her and tells her to get out, and she's calling the police.
Mm.
So after that,
Okay.
obviously that causes a major fracture in their relationship.
Right.
And the hardest thing for me in that book was trying to figure out, can I believably get them back together after such a big fracture?
Okay.
And so it was fun. We have a whole court case in the book. And I learned a little bit about the judicial system and what would happen if someone was charged with extortion and slander and things like this. But yeah, it was fun to figure out how to get them back together believably after so many things went sideways.
Okay. And in this series, because you mentioned it in the other ones that you do alternate viewpoints, do you continue that in this series as well, or is it focused
Yes.
on one?
So, and in the last two books, Perfect Office Pact and Perfect Secrets, they're both dual first person POVs.
Okay.
So we get the female main character's point of view as well as the male main character's point of view. And I've had a lot of good feedback on that format, so I think I'm going to continue with it.
Okay, because I was going to ask you. It sounds like you really favor that kind of POV, and each one of those POVs is first person,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you've never written anything in third person then.
I haven't. I've written one short story. I was like trying to stretch my writing muscles.
Right.
So I wrote one short story in that third person POV, but I just really like being in the head of the character and being able to show what they're feeling and have the reader experience that. So it's a more intimate experience.
Yes, it seems to be more popular today than previously. Like third person was much more common. Now first person has that immediacy that a lot of people like. Of course, the drawback is you can only tell the story. You're restricted to what that person knows. So if there's something happening outside of the story, which is why I guess you go to a second POV to try to get around that. But even then, you still only have two POVs, so you still might not have the whole story. Do you play into any sort of being an unreliable narrator with your POVs, or?
Well, definitely with Perfect Secrets, I played into that a bit because even though they're telling you first person, they're not telling you everything. It's not like you get this whole history dump in the beginning.
Right.
Then these little things, these little nuggets of truths keep coming out as we go through the story, and you start to get a better picture of their past and their family and their situations. But it's not until the mom pulls the gun and the aftermath of that you really like get the whole story.
Okay. And is this the last book in the series, or do you have more planned?
No, because it is one of those series that you're looking at different friends within this friend group, and I can grow that friend group whenever I want to, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, I'm writing the next book now. That's another one of the friends, and it's fun too. I jump around in time a little bit too because it doesn't matter as much. I think when I read a romance series, I just like hearing the different character stories, so I can jump around and jump forward in time and just kind of explore whatever person is speaking to me at the moment.
Right. So as a series writer, across all your series, how much planning do you do for the series? Like, do you know going in that, this series is going to be 3 books, this one's going to be 4, that one's going to be 5, or do you just kind of organically let it grow and see how it sits with you?
Yeah, I'm not a big outliner. I
Okay.
thought the Kingdom
Interesting.
Journals was going right. I thought it was going to be a trinity, like three books, because there
Mm-hmm.
were three main characters, and then, like I said, that one character came out of nowhere and kind of stole his own book. Um, and then in the Fae Queen or Realm Chronicles series, I knew like where I wanted it to end. I usually know where I want the series to end in
Okay.
each book,
Okay.
where I need them to end, right? A
Mm-hmm.
logical breaking point for the plot. But I don't know how I'm going to get them there. And I publish one book at a time. So if I create a rule in my world,
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes I am limited by those rules. That kind of came up in the Realm Chronicles series.
Mm-hmm.
You have some rules where a soul can't be destroyed, right? That
Mm.
they will never, have to exist somehow, right? So then
Okay.
how do you get your main characters to, vanquish the villain if
Mm-hmm.
they can't be completely destroyed?
Right.
So that was a challenge. I mean, it was a fun challenge, and I think
Sure.
I did it. And it has to be epic enough, right? I think I did
Sure.
it in an epic enough way that the readers were happy with it. I was pretty happy with it.
Okay, that's cool. So, yeah, because if you don't plan your series out, you can paint yourself into a corner, which sounds like you have done. Have you purposely done that just to challenge yourself, or is it just mostly accidental?
No, that was accidental a little bit. And there were a couple of rules along the way. I was like, oh, how am I going to get around this rule?
Right.
But those are fun too. Yeah, those
Mm-hmm.
are fun challenges that I didn't intend to give myself, but were make you be more creative a little bit.
Right. I think the best stories are when you're reading it, you say, I have no idea how this is going to end. But then when you get to the end, then you go, oh, of course, that's the only way it could have ended, like the surprising but inevitable type of storytelling. Is that something that you try to attain, or?
I do. Like I like to be surprised by my stories. Like
Mm-hmm.
one time I tried to outline, and because my editor said, "Oh, you need to outline. I need to be able to. We need to know where each
Right.
scene and each book, and we need to be able to go back and reference it." So I tried to outline, and then I was so bored writing. I was like, "This is stupid." Like I didn't even want to write it because I already knew
Right.
what I was supposed to write. So now what I
Right.
do is I write, and I know I'm writing. I know the major plots at this points of the
Sure.
story,
Right.
and a few ups and downs, but then I write in between it. I make it up as it go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do the outline after I write a chapter.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have it in there in outline format. It's just done after the fact.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, everybody's different. It's like you mentioned, like Stephen King. He's the same way. He does not like to know the ending of his stories. He says if he does, then he loses interest. So that's interesting.
I
Uh,
usually do know my ending, so I
yeah.
have the goal of where I want to go.
Right.
But it's just the getting there that's
Sure.
unknown.
Okay. So you've got the this latest book out, Perfect Secrets, and you're writing the next one in this series. And
Right. Yes.
where are you sitting with your other series? Are they looking for further books as well, or?
So the Realm Chronicles, the finale had these 12 different beings that were required. I won't tell you what for. That gives a little bit away.
Okay.
But these 12 different beings had to be gathered together. And so that seems like a natural launch off in the fantasy realm for me. So I wrote a short story about a Nyx character who is a fish shifting character. I wrote her short story. So I have a little bit going in my mind of what I want her story to be, but I haven't like completely fleshed it out and
Mm-hmm.
haven't really jumped on the page yet.
Okay. And what about your other series?
The Perfect Romance series, I think the next book is going to be my not so perfect cop. So a
Okay.
little bit of a cop theme there. And it will be with Danny and her love interest Gareth.
Okay. Um, and anything else that you're thinking about, or you don't want to reveal yet?
I have this series that the first book is Lovelock Ones. It's a dystopian sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day when dystopian sci-fi was oh so popular.
Mm. Well, it still seems to be like there's Fallout and Silo are on TV now, so
Yeah, unless you have a worldwide pandemic, and then not so much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was
Okay.
eerily predictable, or predicted the 2020 occurrence, but I have, my main character is headed across the ocean to China. She's giving herself over to the Chinese to keep like World War III from happening, but
Mm.
her sister is being held hostage back in what is now, or what was, the United States. So I need to get them back together somehow at some point. But every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, I can't go back into a pandemic world.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, I think we're all still trying to recover from that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the book really isn't set in the pandemic. Like, the
Right.
characters are outside of it, and they're
Yeah.
mostly they try to get the cure, and then they're trying to get the cure to the people that need it, but they're living outside of it. But
Okay.
still, it's still that idea of it's there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Um, I think that's all I got. Is there anything else that you would like to mention that hasn't come up yet, or?
I don't know. Like, I have so many different characters. I mean, I
Right.
start out with a little bit of a women's fiction that's, fictional, but kind of an inspiration type
Mm-hmm.
series, and then witches, vampires, fairies,
Mm-hmm.
and then the contemporary romance, which, so I have a lot of different voices. I feel like it's kind of something for everyone.
Yeah.
It's funny because my publicist said, "You write horror," and I thought, "I don't write horror," and he was like, "No, you have a vampire book." So I do have a prequel to the Kingdom Journal series called Kingdoms of Damned that was finally my vampire book with a vampire
Mm.
main character. So that was a lot of fun to write, and I have on the back burner to the Kingdom Journal series writing the villain's backstory.
Oh.
So
Wow.
I've been studying a little bit, like, villain backstories, and how,
Okay.
how I want to shape that.
Right. Right. Very cool. Well, I wish you all the best with that, and
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your time, and I, I'm sure that we'll be talking again in the future when you come out with your next book.
Well, thank you, Lou. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this, and enjoy the rest
Of
of your
course.
day.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care now. Bye bye.